Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're getting into something that honestly feels a bit sci-fi sometimes. Urban farming.
It really does, doesn't it?
Yeah, we're talking about, gardens popping up on city rooftops, these crazy indoor farms with LED lights,
Mm-hmm.
and even systems where, get this, fish are basically growing your salad. It's
Yeah.
it's quite a shift in how we think about food.
It truly is. And what's fascinating is how this sort of local activity is starting to reshape food production more broadly.
Right.
So our mission today really is to give you the essentials, kind of like a shortcut to getting up to speed on this really important and fast-growing field.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's start with the basics. Urban farming. We kind of get the idea.
Yeah.
But what are we really talking about here? How's it different from, traditional farming out in the country?
Okay, yeah. So at its core, urban farming is, well, it's growing, processing, and distributing food right in or very close to cities. Urban or peri-urban areas,
I'd-
technically,
Peri-urban.
with the edges. Exactly, the areas just surrounding the main city. But the key is proximity. And it covers a surprisingly wide range of stuff, much more than just, a few herbs on a windowsill.
So what does that actually look like? Like in real cities, what forms does it take?
Oh, it's incredibly varied. You've got the rooftop gardens, yeah, growing things like carrots, spinach, greens.
Okay.
Then there are these bigger indoor vertical farms. Think warehouses, using LEDs, hydroponics, growing plants in water, no soil.
Right, the high-tech stuff.
Yeah. And community gardens, which are super important neighbors sharing plots, working together. Plus those aquaponics systems we hinted at, the fish and plant combo.
Okay, so it's definitely not just one thing. It sounds like a whole movement.
Mhm.
What's the main driver? Why this big push to grow food in the city?
Fundamentally, it's about shortening the journey from farm to fork, drastically shortening it.
Okay.
By doing that, you cut down massively on food miles, so less carbon emissions. You reduce waste because food isn't spending days or weeks in transit getting bruised or spoiling.
Makes sense. Like less floppy lettuce.
Exactly. Less floppy lettuce. And crucially, you maximize freshness, flavor, and nutrients. The food just tastes better and is better for you because it's picked practically next door.
That freshness point is huge. Okay, so beyond just better tasting salads, what are some of the other big reasons this matters? Why should, our listeners really pay attention to urban farming?
Well, beyond the clear environmental pluses, it hits some major social issues head on.
Like what?
Like food deserts, those urban areas where getting fresh, healthy food is surprisingly difficult. Maybe lots of fast food, but no decent grocery stores nearby.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Urban farms are often popping up right in those neighborhoods. They provide direct, sometimes immediate access to fresh greens, tomatoes, herbs, things people might otherwise struggle to find or afford.
Wow. Okay, so it's tackling food access directly.
Yeah.
That's really powerful. And I guess that ties into bigger picture stuff too, right? Like climate change impacting traditional farms.
Precisely. Think about it. Droughts, floods, weird weather patterns. They're hitting traditional agriculture hard. Urban farming offers a kind of backup plan, a more resilient layer for our food supply.
A backup snack plan for the planet.
Yeah, something like that. It's more localized, often more controlled, so it's less vulnerable to those large-scale climate shocks.
Right, a smart adaptation.
Right.
And you mentioned social impacts. It's not just about the food itself, is it?
Not at all. These projects create jobs right there in the community. They build stronger neighborhood ties because people are literally working the land together, sharing the harvest. And they transform neglected spaces. Think empty lots, derelict rooftops. Suddenly they're green, productive, turning, concrete jungles into actual jungles in a way.
That's a great image. Concrete to actual jungles. It's amazing to see. And doing all this in a city, that must take some serious creativity, some real ingenuity.
Oh, absolutely. Growing food anywhere has its challenges, but doing it efficiently in dense urban settings, that requires some clever thinking and, frankly, a lot of resilience from the farmers themselves.
Okay, so let's talk about some of that cleverness.
Yeah.
What are some of the really cool, innovative examples of urban farms out there pushing the envelope?
Well, if you want innovation driven by necessity, look at Singapore.
Okay.
Tiny island nation, super dense population, very little land for traditional farming. So what do? They go vertical.
Vertical farms, like
Yeah.
skyscrapers full of lettuce.
Pretty much. Multi-story buildings stacked high with crops, lettuce, herbs using LED lights, incredibly efficient water systems that recycle almost everything. It's like playing Tetris with farms to maximize every square inch.
Wow, that is futuristic.
Yeah.
Okay, what about somewhere closer to home, maybe? I heard Detroit's doing amazing things.
Yeah, Detroit's a fantastic example of transformation. They had a lot of empty lots after economic changes. Communities stepped in, turning those lots into huge gardens. We're talking vegetables, fruit trees, even beehives now. It's not just about food. It's a symbol of a regrowth, of hope, really.
Hope growing alongside the tomatoes. That's powerful.
It really is. And then you've got places really pushing the hyperlocal angle, like how close can you get the farm to the table?
Go on.
Think New York City. There are projects putting entire farms inside shipping containers.
Seriously. Shipping containers.
Parking them right behind restaurants. So the chef needs salad greens. They walk out back, pick them, and they're on your plate maybe an hour later. Farm to table in like 10 steps.
That is insane. Talk about fresh. Okay, and we have to circle back to the fish, aquaponics. You mentioned it, but how does that actually work? It sounds wild.
It is wild, but also brilliantly simple in concept. It's a closed loop mimicking nature.
Okay.
So you have fish in tanks. Their waste naturally produces ammonia, which bacteria convert into nitrates, fantastic plant fertilizer.
Right, fish poop power?
Exactly. So the nutrient-rich water from the fish tanks is pumped to the plant beds, maybe rafts floating on water or gravel beds. The plants absorb those nutrients,
Right.
and in doing so, they clean the water. That clean water then flows back to the fish tanks. It's this perfect symbiotic cycle. Fish feed plants, plants clean water for fish.
Wow. It's like a little ecosystem in a box or a tank. That's genius.
It's incredibly efficient, minimal waste, nature's recycling, optimized.
Okay, these examples are amazing, but let's get real for a second. It can't all be smooth sailing, right? What are the big challenges these urban farms run into?
Oh, definitely not smooth sailing all the time. A major hurdle, maybe the biggest, is cost, especially the cost of land or space in cities.
Rent is high.
Rent is very high. Finding an affordable rooftop, an empty lot, warehouse space, it's a huge financial barrier, especially for startups.
And I bet the red tape is pretty thick too. Zoning laws, permits.
Oh, yeah. Navigating bureaucracy is a whole other challenge. Zoning laws weren't typically written with farms in mind, so getting permits for structures, for water use, even just permission to sell the food you grow. It can be a maze.
It's a bureaucratic nightmare before you even plant a seed.
Sometimes, yeah. And then there are the startup costs, especially for the more high-tech systems like vertical farms or aquaponics. The infrastructure, the lights, the pumps, the sensors. It requires significant upfront capital investment.
Right. Big bucks to get started. But technology must be helping here, right? Offering some solutions.
Absolutely. Tech is a huge enabler. We're seeing things like plug-and-play modular farms.
Modular farms.
Yeah, basically pre-built farm units, often in containers, that you can just drop onto a site and connect. It makes setup way faster and simpler.
Okay, that lowers the barrier a bit.
Definitely. And then there are smart sensors. These things are getting cheaper and better all the time. They monitor everything: soil moisture, light, nutrients, pH, temperature, humidity, and feed that data right back to the farmer, maybe even to their phone. So you can use resources like water and fertilizer super efficiently. No guesswork.
Precision farming, but in the city.
Exactly. And AI is starting to play a role too, optimizing growing conditions, predicting pest outbreaks, even helping choose the best crops for a specific microclimate or market demand. All this tech is making it more doable, more accessible, and over time, more affordable.
It's really encouraging. It feels like the tech is catching up to the vision. But it's not just about tech, is it? What about the people part?
Oh, community support is absolutely vital. It's the bedrock for many of these projects.
Oh, so?
Well, funding often comes from crowdfunding campaigns, local grants, support from nonprofits, and volunteers. So many urban farms rely heavily on people donating their time for planting, harvesting, general upkeep. It's this collective effort, this belief in the project that really keeps them going.
That sense of shared purpose.
Exactly. It shows a real community determination to make these farms work.
Okay, so this is all fascinating. But what about for someone listening right now? Maybe they live in an apartment, don't have a backyard. How can you get involved or connect with this movement?
That's a great question because you don't need acres of land. Lots of cities have community gardens.
Right.
You can offer or rent a small plot relatively cheaply. It's a fantastic way to meet neighbors, learn gardening skills, and, grow some of your own food. It's very rewarding.
Okay, community gardens. What else?
You could volunteer at a local urban farm, most are really grateful for the help. You get hands-on experience, planting, watering, harvesting, learn a ton, and often get to take some fresh produce home, too.
Nice perk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if even that feels like too much or you're really tight on space, check out countertop hydroponic kits.
Ah, I've seen those.
Yeah.
Little kitchen gardens.
Exactly. They let you grow herbs, lettuce, that sort of thing, right on your counter, often without any soil. It's a mini taste of urban farming right in your home.
Cool. So there are ways to get your hands dirty, even on a small scale. But what if you can't do that? Can you still support the movement?
Absolutely. Your choices as a consumer make a huge difference.
Oh.
Seek out local farmers markets, talk to the vendors, look for locally grown or even urban grown labels in your grocery store. They're becoming more common.
Yep.
Ask your local restaurants if they source from nearby farms. Supporting businesses that support local food systems, that sends a powerful message. Your wallet really does have power here.
Vote with your fort, basically.
Exactly. It helps build demand and fosters that local fresh food ecosystem.
All right, well, that pretty much wraps up our deep dive into urban farming. It's definitely weird and wild in some ways, but also incredibly practical and impactful.
It really is changing how we produce and eat food in cities.
Yeah, it's clearly more than just a niche trend. It feels like a really significant shift, offering a path to better food security, stronger communities.
And greater sustainability. It touches on so many important areas.
Definitely. Thanks for diving in with us today. So next time you're eating a salad, maybe pause for a second. Could those greens have grown in a high-tech tower nearby? Or maybe even in a shipping container down the street? Possibly with better rent than you.
Huh. It's possible.
It makes you think, right? What does this changing food landscape mean for your plate and for the future of your own city? Something to chew on.